Oh, let me see what they talking about. Let me see what it's talking about. Pull up a chair. Come over here. Come to the round table where we break it all down. Say. Why? We about to break bread right now. We got peace within, so it's peace we about to give out. We give everybody a minute to get off anything, maybe tap the screen a little bit so we can get all our family off up in here. But today we're going to be talking about operating from a state of the wish already fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? That's what time it is. That's what time it is, family. It's time for us to get to the point that we're operating from the space of the wish already fulfilled. Somebody told me yesterday, like, man, you need to put out a book. Like, in my head, I already got the book in motion. You feel me? I already got the book in motion. So, with that being said, I appreciate the encouragement as well as the confirmation. But again, I need for you to prepare your vessel. Prepare your vessel, meaning get your health in order. You know what I'm saying? Get to the point that you listening to your vessel enough to where you know what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You know when your body telling you, hey, look, we gotta cut this out, or this ain't no longer serving us no more. So that's what I mean by prepare your vessel. You know what I'm saying? Listen to your body. Don't be getting so caught up in everybody else to the point that you can't hear your own body, Miss Johnson. The importance of preparing your body, though, is in order to receive abundance, you must be at a vibration of abundance. You know what I'm saying? Be one with that vibration. And part of being one with that vibration is through preparation. You know what I mean? A lot of times people feel like because you can't see a thing, you might feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's not going to happen. But that's not necessarily true. You feel me? It's not necessarily true. If anything, when it comes to abundance, it's a matter of you recognizing the abundance that is bestowed to you. You feel me? The abundance that's already in you. The abundance that you deserve. You feel me? The abundance that you deserve. So that's why I say prepare your vessel in order to receive this abundance. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me good. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me good. I want to make sure we can be heard, you know what I'm saying, before we get too deep up into this word. You know what I'm saying? We got a nice little word for y'all today. Want to take the time to say hi to everybody. Glad that you woke up today and able to hear this word. I appreciate that follow. Appreciate you coming through, Miss Lady. We're going to definitely bless you in a way that will affirm your spirit. Bless you in a way that's going to affirm your spirit. 1 second, one. Everybody get my little medicine. Alright. So, we back. Alright. I can't get y'all yet. We posted up, right? Okay. So today, I want to say that I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? For my return to the artist way. What I mean by the artist way, recognizing the creativity, that's within me. Recognizing that it flows through me freely if I will allow it to. So I'm grateful to be back in that motion. I'm grateful to be back in my emotions. A lot of people would tell you, get out of your feelings, get out of your feelings. All the while, it's your feelings that bring forth your healing. If you can't feel it, it's going to be hard for you to heal it. You know what I'm saying? If you can't feel it, it's going to be hard for you to heal it. So you got to get in tune with them feelings. You got to get to a point that you recognize what feelings need your attention. Also, how to utilize your feelings to bring forth your intentions. Recognize Your intentions are in tune with your desires as well as your design. So, that being said, be very attentive to self. Be very attentive to self. I heard him say, you're entering your millionaire phase. You feel me? I am grateful that I am remembering that I am abundance. I'm grateful to be remembering that I am abundance. You know, for a lot of us, we live in a state of lack and wonder why we receive just that. We receive that reflection of how we feel within ourselves. So when you think about that, it's like, okay, you notice based on what I just gave to you that you're receiving the reflection of lack because that's how you feel within yourself. Now recognize we can change that by going out of our way to, you know, picture ourselves in a state of abundance that we feel like we deserve. You know what I'm saying? Start telling ourselves that we deserve abundance. You know, take away that old programming of, oh man, I don't, you know, I ain't never got enough. I ain't gonna never have enough. You know, don't get me wrong. It's gonna be times that since your outside don't reflect what you feel like you should have, you know, you're gonna have to come back to the table. You're gonna have to replenish yourself. You're gonna have to keep on bringing that inner child back to the focus. Because, you know, for a lot of us, we can't get past what we see on the outside. So since we keep on seeing so-called lack on the outside, we just keep on operating from that state of lack. But you also got to keep bringing yourself back in tune or back in focus of just that what you want to manifest, you know. So since you want to manifest abundance, when you start thinking of lack, tell yourself, no, I'm not operating from a state of lack. I already have that in which I seek to have. I already have it. So again, I am full of abundance. I move in such a way that commands abundance. These things you can tell yourself. I'm already abundance. I move in such a way that commands abundance. I'm already abundance. I move in such a way that commands abundance. As I know reality will have to bend to my assumption of I am wealth. You feel me? I am success. I am money. Again, reality has to bend based on my assumption, based on me feeling a way about it, where I'm supposed to be in life. Got a few things I wrote down for y'all, you know what I mean? So we just going over that, right? I am full of abundance. I move in such a way that commands abundance. As I know reality will have to bend to my assumption of I am meant to be wealthy, success, and overflowing with money. You know, as money is merely just a side effect of the vibration that you are already in tune with. If you can't stay in tune with that, even when, like I said, when you find yourself veering off like a child that's, you know, restless, you know, just pull yourself back in, Ren. Tell yourself, hold on, man. Did I say I don't have? Hold on, let me rephrase that. I already have. You know what I'm saying? And I just have to remember that I already have these things. Appreciate you, Ren, coming through, friend. So look, I am already rich. I walk in it, and I am one with the all that brings all into existence. So when you recognize that you are one with the one that brings all into existence, it's like, how do you even fix your face to even say that you can't have something? When you recognize that, darn, you know what? I'm connected to that which brings all into existence. I can have whatever I want. I just have to fixate my mind on it. I just have to, you know, focus on it. For a lot of us, we like, man, but I don't see it in my reality. Like what you talking about, it look like you in an apartment right now. But a lot of people don't recognize the abundance that I operate from. It doesn't always reflect in my everyday so-called existence, you feel me? Or the outer world. But based on how I feel in my inner, I begin to see reflections of it. You know, even this apartment, I don't pay a dime for it. You know, and I'm not on no public assistance or none of that. But it's a reflection of, you know, the abundance that I feel like is me. So here it is, when I've been put in certain situations, it's been an abundance of resources that have been poured out to me. And I'm grateful for those people who have been allowing themselves to be utilized as a vessel, you know, to bring forth this abundance, to show the abundance that they have. You know what I mean? To be able to bestow this situation on me. I reveal wealth in my life. I see my life not as it is, but as it is meant to be. See, for a lot of us, we forget we was meant to be wealthy. We weren't meant to be worried about nothing. You know, man has created certain systems that a lot of us have to operate within that make us feel like we're not worthy of certain things. But the abundance of nature, the abundance of this life is truly, you know what I'm saying, reflected by how nature provides everything that we need. But for a lot of us, we so focused on this system that man has created, to the point we lose sight of that we are born into abundance. We're born into this rich reality. So once you change the reality, what you think is possible within yourself, how you doing, Faith? What you think is possible within yourself, the reality outside of you has no choice but to be into that, but to reflect it. How many times you felt some kind of way about yourself, and then a person materialized in your life and said those same things to the point you was like, man, I don't like how you talking to me. Like, it's one thing I said, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you talking bad about a relative or somebody that's close to you, and then the person you talking to join in and try to talk crazy, or somebody else try to talk crazy about them totally unrelated, you get defensive. You know, it's the same thing with yourself. It's the same thing with yourself, right? As my life reflects my inner vision, I have the calm confidence of one who has more than enough. You feel me? I am one with the vibration of abundance. You know, in order for you to receive this abundance, you have to have the confidence of one who has more than enough, good or, you know what I'm saying, faith. You gotta have the faith. Don't force it. You know, for a lot of us, we think we gotta force it by our works, you know, by, you know, the work that we put in at these jobs. You know, that's the only way we feel like we gonna have it. But this thing right here called abundance operates in faith. It operates in faith and what you believe is possible, right? I hold to the vision of abundance, as imagination is the vehicle of wealth. So if you can't imagine it, then you can't have it, Nick. If you can't imagine it, then you can't have it. But if you can imagine it, guess what? It's coming. It's coming. It's going to be times that you're going to feel doubtful. But reel yourself back in. Bring yourself back to the table of abundance and remind yourself the focus is on just that. We're focused on the abundance that we're meant to have. We're focused on the abundance that's reflected in nature. Okay? Keep that in mind, y'all. Again, imagination is the vehicle of wealth. Whatever you identify with shapes your reality. You feel me? So if you keep on identifying with a state of lack, no wonder you feel like just that. But if you remember what I said earlier, if it's a reflection of how you feel, then guess what? Notice that you can change that feeling. How will it feel when you do have abundance? If you don't know how that feel because you done lived in lack in your mind for so long, you know, watch other people who are rich. Watch how they move. Watch how they take their time to do certain things. You know, watch how they pour, you know, their passions into the things that they, you know, they seek to do. You know what I mean? There's something to pay attention to. Identity shapes your reality. What you assume to be true comes true for you. Just saying, I wrote that down, but it's for all us, Judo. What you assume to be true comes true for you. I release money because I know there's always more than enough. I'm reminded of a story. Man, I was talking to a young lady on here, and she was talking about how she wanted a lion so bad. You know what I mean? She was like, man, I want this lion, bro. I want them to send me a lion. And she was like, you know what? I'm finna start imagining myself getting this lion. You feel me? In the midst of different things she was doing, she was just, I don't know what, oh, a lion. Ooh, look at that lion. You know what I'm saying? Like, And she would just keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it. It would it would be times that, you know, people would probably try to make fun of her, you know what I'm saying? But she would keep doing it, keep bringing herself back around to it. Even when she got frustrated and didn't believe that it was going to happen, she still kept doing it until it happened. And I know it to be true because I was there when it happened, you feel me? Not to mention, I practiced that same thing. And it happened for me. And it came in a way that I never expected. That's another thing. When you keep on holding on to how it's gonna happen instead of assuming, you feel me, that it's gonna happen. Like a lot of us, we got these expectations of how things are gonna happen rather than assuming that it's gonna happen for us. You feel me? You see the contrast? Oh, I got this expectation of how it's gonna happen. So now, you know what I'm saying, when it don't come about that way, you can't appreciate it. You know, it might come to you, but then you like, man, I ain't see that person giving it to me. Or, man, sure, I don't know what such and such keep calling me for all the while. This person trying to call you with that opportunity that you've been asking for this whole time. This whole time. You've been asking for a certain opportunity. Now, you know, when that opportunity comes up on you, you full of expectations to the point you can't even appreciate it. Instead of assuming the identity of the wish fulfilled. I am governed by my inner conviction, not what I see outward. You feel me? I'm governed by my inner conviction, not what I see outward. If you get so caught up in what you see out here in your reality, you forget what you see in your reality was once in somebody's imagination. So obviously that's how it works. Obviously things come into being by way of what we think and what we identify with. You feel me? Universe isn't moved by need, but by feeling. The universe ain't moved by our needs. You know what I'm saying? Or it ain't moved. Ooh wee. Mama, that man outside. Man, bro, I see so much nature. You feel me? That, you know, attracts me to pay attention to the vibration of abundance. Like, I'm sitting over here looking at all these birds on the power line. On top of that, I see a hawk that has joined the rest of the birds. Yeah, I'm talking about you, buddy. Why you shaking your neck? But it reminds me of the abundance that's prevalent in life. You know what I mean? If this hawk didn't believe it was possible for it to receive what it needs or what it assumes, you know what I'm saying, is available to it, it wouldn't show up in certain environments and then receive what it wants. Because right now, he over here looking for food. I know he is. You feel me? He looking for food. Or he's assuming that, hey, as sure as he shows up, there will be food. But right now, he don't see nothing. He don't see nothing. But if he lives in that state of doubt, he gonna move around and he gonna miss out. I'm gonna say that again. He gonna move around and he gonna miss out. A lot of us think we gotta force it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I get it. We done been programmed to believe that that's how we get our portion. You feel me? I'm keeping my eye on him because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna see this happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see this thing come into being. Because he don't realize he showed up by way of my imagination, you know. I've been telling myself for the longest I'm gonna see some nature, Miss Keita. You feel me? I've been telling myself for the longest I'm gonna see certain things happen in nature that, you know, that's gonna fulfill me. I always like watching National Geographic too on top of that. But I'm gonna get back to this word for y'all though. The universe isn't moved by need, but by feeling. Not what you do, but what you feel to be true. What you accept within will be reflected outward. How many times you thought something and it showed up? Like, what I mean by you thought something and it showed up, how many times you thought about, you know, certain things about yourself? You might have been down on yourself. You know, your strongest feeling was you feeling down on yourself. And then next thing you know, somebody else showed up and started talking to you that way. You feel me? Somebody showed up and was like, man, look, you ain't this. You feel me? And all the while, you been down on yourself feeling like you ain't that. You know what I mean? So, knowing that that's how it worked, right? Knowing that it happened to you like that before, why not do that same thing about the work that you feel like you want to come into fruition now? You know, do that inner work. That's why I said prepare your vessel, meaning work on yourself, improve your health. You know, we got this wrong idea about, you know, what brings about addiction. You know what I'm saying? We think addiction comes by way of so many afflictions that it really has nothing to do with. Addiction comes by way of our lack of connection. You know, when people find themselves alone, you start noticing people that's alone. Ooh-wee. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Man, that boy crazy. That boy went and snatched up one of their relatives. That boy went and snatched up one of them little birds' relatives. What's up with my bro? I knew it. Knew it finna go down. But my bad, kid. Yeah, Lee. So make sure you're making important connections out here. Otherwise, you will find yourself addicted to the things that you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're afflicted with. You'll find yourself living in a loop. You know, if you keep on getting caught up in what you see around you right now, you'll be stuck in that loop of that reality, rather than using your imagination to be the vehicle to bring forth the reality that you want, City. You feel me? Look, a seed, when you plant a seed, you don't go dig it up. You just trust that it's growing. You feel me? You assume and you allow it to grow. The same thing with your reality. I need for you to assume and allow it to grow. Appreciate that love, King, as I seek to be love to you. You assume and you allow it to grow. Hey, they on his ass, bro. All them birds on him, like, bro, I can't believe you just did what you did. But like a seed, like I said, you don't just dig it up. You assume and you allow it to grow. So as sure as you got that seed planted in your mind of where you finna go in life, the riches and abundance that's supposed to come to you in life, hey, let that seed be planted in you and allow it to grow. Now, as sure as you feel a state of doubt, you feel me, go about allowing yourself to reel yourself back in. Start telling yourself the things that are going to be becoming of that thing that you seeking to manifest. So when you start being doubtful, like, damn, man, I need some money, you say, nah, I got it. I got it already. I just got to remember that I got it. I have what I need and what I want. Not, oh, man, I just wish I had it. Nah, all that wishing that you had it is going to keep on pushing it further away from you. Exactly. Positive attraction. Also, the easiest way to attract it is, hey, how you gonna feel when you do get it? How you gonna move when you got that thing? Is you gonna be happy? You know what I'm saying? Is you gonna spend more time with your family? Who you gonna love on when you do get it? You know what I'm saying? So, hey, start doing that right now. Don't wait. What it say? You're not ignoring the facts, right? Because I know a lot of people gonna be like, you don't got it already. Why you ignoring the facts? You're not ignoring the facts. You're choosing a higher truth. Knowing how things come into being, wouldn't that be said that you're choosing a higher truth if you're allowing for yourself to manifest that which you say you want? Look, I ain't gonna hold y'all long, but I'm gonna hold y'all strong today. I'm gonna be strong with this. You're choosing to live from the end, not to stay in the middle. See, a lot of us, you know, we want to stay in the middle. We want to stay where we at with it right now. We want to stay in that and then wonder why we keep living in this loop or this reality that keeps on showing and reflecting that lack that we feel like we have, okay? The moment you stop living from the senses, then you truly live by faith. See, a lot of us, we living just based on our senses, what we can see right now. Yeah, you got to break that cycle, kid. You got to break that cycle. Reality has no choice but to bend when we use our faith. You know what I'm saying? When we walking in faith, it'll be in reality. As you envision it, you're truly living by faith. Imagine the softness of luxury, the freedom in your schedule, the freedom in your financial. The outer world is the harvest of yesterday's imagination. I wrote that. I'm just saying. If you're not willing to do the inner work, all of this work on the outside is, bro, it's dead. It's dead. Because I'm going to tell you like this, the way a lot of these jobs are set up is not meant for you to be abundant. It's just an abundance of more work to do. That's what it is. But if you do the work within you, you're going to what? Free yourself up. You're going to have financial ease. You're going to be able to experience the softness of luxury. You feel me? Release yourself from that loop. So fully dwell in assumptions of your desires being fulfilled. Again, you plant your seeds and watch the outer world catch up. Man, tell that, look, when you feel like your wish is unfulfilled, 504, you tell the world, catch up. Because I'm abundance. I am rich. Hey, world, catch up. I am abundance. I am rich. Catch up. Keep the faith absolute and unwavering. Man, look, absolutely believe it and be unwavering in it. Even if you find yourself in states of doubt, when you recognize you doubting, hey, go back and start telling yourself, look, I am abundance. Hey, world, catch up. I am abundance. It's already here. I just got to put my eyes on it. I got to put my hands on it. Matter of fact, it's already here. And when it's time for me to utilize it, it will appear. It's already here. And when it's time for me to utilize it, it will appear. Faith doesn't look for signs of evidence, but it assumes the feeling of a wish fulfilled and rest in it. You feel me? Rest in it. Don't play with it, Traffair. I already assumed that it is what it is, 504. Already, kid. I already assumed that it is what it is, as it knows what's felt within must be expressed outward. Not by force, but by law. This the law. You feel me? This the law of how things come into being. Everything that you see right now, because your senses, you sensing, basically you see what you smell, what you can touch right now. Just because they don't show forth what you feel like is necessary for you to believe or for you to see what you say you want, you got to live outside of that. Because guess what? That was in somebody else's imagination before. So somebody else imagined that into being. And if they could do that, then why come you can't? Your state's of lack. You feel me? That's what you imagined before. So if you can imagine that and get yourself to that place of lack, why come you can't imagine abundance? Why not? It's law. That's how it works. That's why you in that state, because you already imagined that. Whether it was your thought that put you there or you believe somebody else. And it allowed for you to stay in that loop of that imagination of a state of lack. That's, hey, you only in that because that's what you believe. You only going through that because that's what you conceive. So persist in this inner reality of abundance. I bring my atmosphere with me. Look at most fear their own potential, and not living up to your potential is a waste. You feel me? What they say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. What's up with it, Lady Glitter? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Yeah, it is. When you can use your mind to bring forth the reality that you say you deserve, the reality that you desire, the reality that you was designed to be in. We was designed to be in abundance, y'all. All right now. This is one of my favorite quotes. Our deepest fear isn't that we're inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. By Marion Williams. They tell you get out of your feelings, but you need your feelings to get where you going. Man, come on now. She said what you resist, persist. Gotta keep climbing even in the dark. A flower blooms in the dark. But for a lot of us, it's dark, meaning we can't see it. We feel like ain't nothing happening. But it's the seeds that you already planted that's gonna impact your reality. But again, you got two realities. It's the reality that you're formulating within yourself based on your feelings, and as well as the reality that you're going to see reflected outside. So, if you don't like what you see outside, guess what? It's a lot that you don't like inside. And I need you to work on it. Prepare yourself. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to see something on the outside that you don't see within. Start encouraging yourself. Start coming around people that encourage you to know that you are better, far greater than what you have seen thus far. Imagination is the vehicle that brings forth abundance. Imagination is the vehicle that brings forth abundance, not the hardened reality that you assume to be the only facts. I ain't saying we're ignoring the facts, but we are tapping into a higher truth. You can't control what you see right now. You can't control the people around you, but you can control how you respond to it. How will you be when you have all that you need and want? Because that's what abundance is, having all that you need and want. How you gonna move? How you gonna talk to people when you have that? How you gonna treat you? How you gonna love on yourself when you have the abundance that you desire? And don't feel bad that you desire these things, because recognize that's how you was designed to be. Is in abundance. So it ain't your fault that you tapping into that, but hey, feel it. You gotta feel it in order to heal it, right? So if you've been getting this feeling that you've been stuck, I appreciate that follow, love. I wish I trying to pronounce your name, Yana. Hopefully I said that right. Yana, recognize that the reality that you see outward, it's only a reflection of how you feel inward. And if you don't like it, hey, change how you feel inward. Prepare yourself. Tell yourself you are greatness. I am that I am. I am meant for abundance. Hold on, let me get y'all with that quote that we had earlier. I am already rich. I walk in it. And I am one with it. I am one with the all that brings all into existence. I am already rich and I walk in it. What's up with it, Kimberly? I walk with it. I am one with the one that brings all into existence. Right, accept an apology even when it ain't how you expected it. A lot of us, look, we can't accept the abundance because it didn't come how we expected it. Go from expectations to assumptions. You feel me? Assume. Assume that your wish is fulfilled. Assume that all things is already here. You feel me? The so-called outward reality that you seek, hey, it came from somebody else's imagination, as well as your own, what you accepted of how this thing is supposed to be. I ain't gonna play with y'all. You feel me? What's up with it, Kimberly? We at that mark. You know, today I said I ain't gonna go that long. I'm getting to the point, you know, I'm gonna start making these things a little shorter. You know, we usually do an hour, but today we right at 33. Kimberly, I'm glad to see you. Glad to see everything good with you. Miss Mendoza, we gonna definitely repost this. Today was a day to recognize the abundance, you know, as we are in, you know, today is the 24th. We bringing down that abundance based on the vibration of the day. And I appreciate you for being part of that abundance. There's an abundance of people that are present at all times, but recognize just because you live in this system and it breeds competition as well. In order to breed competition, you got to feel like you at a state of lack. You got something to improve on. Whereas I recognize reality is shaped by what I feel about myself, what I identify with. So in this point we making today is identify with abundance and watch and see how it has to be reflected in your life. It has no choice. It has no choice. Now use your voice and your feelings in order to bring forth your healing. You know what I'm saying? You got this. I love you as myself, and it ain't nothing you can't accomplish, as we are one. And I'm so glad we in connection. Kinfolk, Let me see what they talking about. What's up with it, Mia? Appreciate that love. Let me see what they talking about. Pull up a chair. Come over here to the round table where we break it all down. Say, why? We just broke bread right now. Appreciate that. Appreciate that love as I seek to be loved. Mia, y'all make sure y'all pick up the YouTube. It's in my bio. We're gonna be reposting this video. As a lot of y'all, I see y'all just coming in. We already been at it for a minute. We about to restart here in a second because, you know, I try to keep them separate so I can upload one video on YouTube and then I can come back and, you know, just rap with the people as well as visit with some of the creators. But peace, family.